We live yet? We are? It's live. All right, let the room fill up a little bit. Make sure everybody can hear me. Everything is good with the audio while the audience comes in. Where's it all set up at, though, nephew? Yeah, but where does it look?
Oh, like right below your knee.
Oh, okay.
With the full body or?
Well, I can go back. It doesn't matter. I mean, you got the remote. You can go back in and out. We're going to let people come in first, then we're going to get with it. Come on in, take a seat. Come on in, take a seat. It's going to be a real good topic tonight. Dee was saying that when on the screen, when you guys be looking down, it don't look like you guys are in tune. When you're looking down at the phone and seeing them, what's your name and everything.
People who are watching are on there and they see us on the phone responding back to people.
Everybody don't know that. I'm just telling you what he said, what they had a conversation about what it looked like. Plus they could hear me right now. Yeah, that's just what they said.
When I'm looking down, y'all, I'm responding to your comments.
But we got a lot of people to do that. You guys ready to hear this topic? Topic is sex. You guys don't know which way I'm gonna go with this thing, huh, man? Kind of need my phone too. Too bad we don't have that thing in the back. That thing in the back to put some things up on the back. That screen in the back. You know how to work that, Brandon? You know how to work that screen back there? That projector? How many people we got? Before we get started. I think I'm gonna need my phone on this. Okay, we good. They're supposed to wait. Gotta wait till the people come in. All right, the topic is sex. Boy, I can't wait to get into this thing. I can't wait to get into it, okay? But let me go to a couple of places first before I get into that. And when we go into these scriptures, we call it our history book because it's not a religious thing to us, and we're going to talk about these scriptures in a different kind of capacity that you're going to hear at the church house, okay? Because we're pulling from a perspective of real life, real circumstances, and culture. So I'm going to go over here to the Song of Solomon 8 and 6. Now I want you guys to follow me, okay? Because I'm going to go to a couple of places and show you how to relate the culture which people have made religion into real life circumstances, and how there's hidden messages up in the culture within these scriptures. Okay, I'm going to the Amplified version. It says, under the apple tree, I awaken you to my love. There your mother was in labor. There she was in labor and gave you birth. Put me like a seal on your heart, like a seal on your arm. Now, bring your whole mind, because this is what I want to get into. It says, for love is strong as death. I'm going to stop right there and I'll come back. Now, on the outside and on the surface, love is strong as death. This is what we're going to unpack. Love is strong as death. Let me go here real quick. Hold on, because I forgot this other part here. Death is the irreversible sensation of all vital functions, meaning a person stops breathing, their heart stops beating, and their brain shuts down, leading to the end of their existence. Love is strong as that, what I just read. One more time. Death is the irreversible cessation of all vital functions, meaning a person stops breathing, their heart stops beating, and their brain shuts down, leading to the end of their existence. Love is strong as that. Now, when you hear me saying love, you might just be thinking about, oh, when somebody falls in love with a woman. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about passion. I'm talking about the passion, the fire, the desire, the lust, the craving of love, which is sex. Which is why I wanted to talk about sex, right? Because I wanted you to understand that the Most High has created something. And you can see in the world today how influential, how powerful, unstoppable sex is today. You can see it everywhere, right? Let me go here real quick. Then I'm going to unpack some more. I always want to lay a foundation with you, right? This is in Mark 6, 22 to 24. It says, now Salome, the daughter of Herodotus, came and danced for the men. She pleased and beguiled Herod and his dinner guests. And the king said to the girl, ask me for whatever you want, and I will give it to you. And he swore to her, whatever you ask me, I will give it to you, up into half my kingdom, because it's strong as death. Sometimes you might think about, why would a king see a girl dancing and be so overwhelmed and so beguiled that his desire, lust, and fire for him being turned on sexually would make him say to her in front of everybody around, ask me whatever you want. Matter of fact, you could ask me anything up to half of my kingdom, because love is strong as death. So the question is, why would the Most High make something so beguiling in the world? Why would he make something that could reduce and seduce men to the point that even the king said, whew, boy, the way you was dancing turned me on so much that I'd give you half my kingdom. Just keep dancing with your sexy self. Why would the Most High make something that has that much power, that much authority to the point that he compares it to something that most of everybody is terrified of, which is death. Because nobody knows what's hereafter, right? But why would God make something in the world that has the capacity to reduce and seduce, and has been doing it since the beginning? Because he never intended for it to reduce you, to seduce you. Let me talk about you men. It was never God's intention for that to have so much influence, so much power over you that it had the capacity to reduce and seduce you. That wasn't his objective. Let me go somewhere real quick. I'm going to go to Revelations because I'm going to teach you something. I'm going to teach you the language. I'm going to teach you some wisdom inside that you could pull from, but I need to build a foundation so that you can understand. Okay? Revelations 12 and 11 says, and they overcame. They overcame what? They overcame and conquered him, the evil one, because of the blood of the Lamb and because of the word of their testimony, right? And then he turns a corner and he says something here that I want you to bring your whole mind, because I need you to understand that it was never the Most High's desire for you to be reduced and seduced by that thing that's as strong as death. And the kind of men that he intended to be in the world, I'm going to tell you, he gave you something. He gave us something from the beginning that made you temper the power of that love or sex. Okay, it says here, and they overcame and conquered him because of the blood of the Lamb, because of the word of their testimony. Here we go. And they did not love their life and renounce their faith, even when faced with death. Come on, hold on now, hold on. Listen, bring your whole mind. For they did not love their life and renounce their faith, even when faced with death. I'm stopping right there and put this phone down. Okay. Do you understand something that's going on right here? He is showing you, even though that sex, that desire, that passion, that need that you think you have, that debilitating thing that can beguile you, although it can reduce and seduce you, it can only reduce you if you haven't found what Martin Luther King found and what he said. If a man living, having found something worth dying for, he's not fit to live. And they love not their life, never renouncing their faith, even when faced with death. Why is this significant? Because although love is strong as death, the man that he's building went further than that. And he said, I will hold a certain integrity. I will hold a certain disposition. Even when faced with you think you're as strong as. And that aligns and tempers the power, the beguiling effect of sex. So where's the problem? The problem is that you don't have that type of commitment to anything. You haven't found anything. Like Martin Luther King said, if a man living haven't found something worth dying for, he's not fit to live. What has happened to you is you have been engulfed in religion, and religion hasn't done it for you because you've been down that circle and nothing from your inside has created such a magnitude of strength in you that you're unwilling to bow down and give up your faith and belief in the Most High, even when faced with death. And when a man like that come on the scene, I don't care how much a woman shakes her butt, she'll line up under that king. I'm talking to you tonight. I'm talking to you tonight. How do I know? Because I was a man that had 8 women at one time when I was in the lifestyle. And God allowed me to go through the depths of certain lifestyles to pull out the reasoning, the understanding. How can these particular men in a particular lifestyle not be affected by the beguiling, reducing, seducing power of sex? How can he have 8 women and be unaffected? Well, one of the reasons is that he loves himself more than he loves the sex that he can get from her. Whew, that's a bar. One of the main reasons is that he loves himself more than what he feels the sex he can get from her. But the king, it says the king, a king that governed over men and women and providences, loved what he's seen in the woman to the extent that he was willing to give up half his kingdom. That's why in the game, which I don't talk about often unless I can relate it to something, because I pull from what God has brought me through. I take from the information that I gained through what he's brought me through. That's why in the game, we never celebrated entertainers. We never celebrated ball players, billionaires, or whatever. Men that had positions in politics. We never looked at them with all their accomplishments, with all of what they achieved, as something impressive, because we knew that they would be willing to give up half their kingdom for the female. We knew it. We had seen it. We've seen it over and over again. And it allowed us to know, as powerful, as successful as you are, as much as an entertainer you are, you have been beguiled. And you can't even help yourself. Because for thousands of years, men have been beguiled, reduced, and seduced. Because they don't really understand what's going on. They don't understand that God instituted the power of sex to have that type of influence, right? But he instituted it for it to have camaraderie with a man that's not willing to reduce his faith even in the face of death. There was a balance. But when the balance was taken away, then what happened? Well, what happens is what you see all over the world. What happens is OnlyFans. With an outside girl or the catch me outside girl, whatever, the average little white girl made $50 million. And she proved it. $50 million. She's on OnlyFans. A man never even touched her. He probably just seen her dance. He probably just seen her dance. I'll give you up to half of my kingdom. I want you to understand that what you're seeing is not exotic. And the only way it could be tempered, because like I say, you could have your best celebrities, your famous football players or sports figures or billionaires, and they all are reduced and seduced by the power of sex. And a lot of you are too. There are some men that will kill another man. There are some people that will fall out with their families because you don't have the balance inside of you. And I don't care what you say. You could be a killer. You could be a gangster. You could be any of those things. But yet, because you don't have that balance inside of you, you are going to be reduced and seduced. You might talk a big talk. We don't love no H's and all this kind of stuff, rap music and all this kind of stuff. But when it comes down to your personal relationships, a lot of you are continually compromised. A lot of you, because you have no balance in you. Of course, God allowed it to be in the world. He allowed it to be in the world. He allowed it to have so much influence that even angels lost their position and began to deal with human women and went into them and had sex with them. Even angels! And you're going to play around? You don't have a balance inside of you. In the game, at least we learn the balance. People used to wonder, how is it that a woman will leave her boyfriend and come be with you, and you got 6 and 8 other women? How does that work? I said, because of how I value myself. And they couldn't understand that it was just that simple. Well, when a woman has dealt with males all her life, and she has seen what males will do just to try to have access, they will lie, they will compromise themselves just to have access to sex. They will do all the unmanly things and be reduced to little boys just to have sex. But when I come on the scene, when I was in the lifestyle, even to this day, even though I'm not in the lifestyle, I hold the same value. That's why my relationship with my wife is balanced. Sure, she's desirable. Sure, I love her. Sure, I enjoy her. But I like me better. I like me better. And she better like her better. I like me better. Right? Because there's a faith within inside of me. There's a relationship with the Most High inside of me. Before the woman was even there, the man had the relationship with the Most High. Right? Before she even came on the scene, there was a relationship that man had with his God. And that's what I'm at. Before you even come here, there's something that I have that I'm willing to face death about. That's more important than any human thing on the earth, no matter how powerful it is. And that aligns the woman when she comes into my life, and it develops value. After all she's seen is guys lie to her, be manipulated to her, not be stand up. That's what she's seeing. And so it makes her lose the value of men, because she's seen the depths that they will go just to see her dance or just to have sex with her. She's seen how tough they are with their friends. She sees how successful they are in their business. She sees how fast they can run. She sees how many baskets they could hit. But she sees that he's weak when it comes down to her body. In any woman's body, she sees that and she knows that. And you could see all these relationships With all these celebrities that have had women, it all comes down to the same thing. He lied to me. He lied. He reduced himself before me. And then not only him, but the boyfriend that I had before did the same thing. And so now she views males probably like that dancer viewed that king as something to conquer. And so in today's time, more than ever, women have the mind, the confidence, the passion to conquer you because she knows your Achilles heel. She knows that no matter how big you talk about whatever you've achieved, that you'll lie to get some sex, that you have lied to get it. And to a man like me come on the scene and tell her I love me more than I love sex, and I love me more than I love you. And there are things that I would never do, and it don't have to do with you. It has to do with me. And not only that, no matter what woman comes and goes, I'm going to show up to be the same man because it doesn't have to do with you. I'm not being this way because of you. I care for you. I love you, but it's got nothing to do with you. And it's that very thing that makes her honor me and makes her desire me. And then you see the balance that God was talking about. The balance comes into place. And the relationship begins to work appropriately because she knows she has a man, unlike the rest of the ones that have compromised himself, that will never compromise himself. And it don't even have to do with her. That's what the Most High's intention was. But because most of you men are out of bounds, most of you are out of bounds. And no matter how much man you pump your chest to be, there's the little itty bitty small things, the little itty bitty petty things, the things that reduce you is where the issue is. So when I think about the conditions of relationships today, that's why I don't blame women. That's the reason why I don't blame women. Because women are operating in what the Most High said, that love is strong as death. And you mad at them because they're natural conquerors? And they're doing everything with the power that God said that they would have. Because God wasn't planning on making a mere male. He was planning that a man would be on the scene. Do you know that the scripture says, who got some napkin somewhere? Who got some napkin? Because I'm getting heated up. You guys got a napkin? Hold on. I don't need a whole bunch. Just one. Here. Thank you. That's my wife. 27 years. Why are you playing? Do you know the scriptures, our history book says, by means of a horish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread. And then it tells God's strongest warriors to run from a particular kind of woman. She is not being anything other than what God has placed inside of her, right? She's not acting any kind of way. Throughout thousands of years, women have known the pettiness that a man will go to and through to get some sex. Thousands of years, right? Thousands of years. By means of a horish woman. What does that mean? Well, you're lucky today because I know about horish women. You're lucky. So I could explain it better than the majority people that will try to explain what he's saying right there. What is he saying right there? He's saying that generally in relationships, when the average man or the average woman or the average girl is intimate with the average guy, just say they're teenagers, the girl gets emotionally connected. It's something in her DNA that makes her emotionally connected, but the guy is not emotionally connected. He's not emotionally connected. That's why a lot of times girls are feeling the worst end of the spectrum because they are emotionally connected and the guy was just trying to have fun. But the Most High says, by means of a horish woman. Why would that? That something changes, something shifts, because he says, by means of this particular kind of woman, it will bring a man to a piece of bread, reduce him, and seduce him, is what he's saying. Why? Because a horish woman is not connected like the young girl is connected emotionally. Because once she's lived life, once she's had so many experiences that make her identify with love or sex as strong as the grave, once she's gone through enough experiences to see it for herself, she becomes empowered. And that natural inclination for her to want to attach herself to the right man is eliminated. Because then she begins to identify with her own power and what it has been able to do. By means of a horish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread. It's the mentality that she gains. It is the understanding through which she has seen over and over again that gives her an awareness of what she has and what he's willing to do for what she has. And when she gets there, she knows that it could bring a man to a piece of bread. Even the king said, I'll give you half my kingdom. All praise to the Most High God. So, you see in every area, every station in life, you see it in the church, you see it in politics, you see it in sports and entertainment, you see it everywhere. You see men losing everything. You seen Harvey Weinstein, P. Diddy's going through his things right now. Those are just examples of what I'm telling you, how men will constantly put themselves in these compromising positions for sex. Why? Because they have not found the faith in the Most High God. I'm telling you, because he showed us earlier. You haven't found something worth dying for. The faith. You're unwilling to relinquish your faith. What does that mean? You're unwilling to relinquish the status by which he intended as a man for you to be. Once you understand the level of that status, sex or nothing else, as a matter of fact, they loved not their lives even unto death when it came to understanding the status of the man that God intended them to be. And that becomes the value. That's why I said I love myself more. Because when I begin to understand the status of the man and by which I can become that, right? Let me read this to you real quick. This is Acts 21:13. This is when Paul was, I'll read it to you. This is an amplified version. Acts 21:13. Then Paul replied, what are you doing, weeping and breaking my heart like this? For I am ready not only to be bound and imprisoned, but even to die for the name of Yahushua. Let me give you the backstory. A prophet had come to Paul and took his belt and bound himself And the prophet prophesied to Paul saying that this is what's going to happen to the man that owns this belt when he enters into Jerusalem, right? So all the people in the congregation begin to tell Paul, plead with him, listen, don't go. The prophet don't told you what was going to happen. Don't go. Let me explain to you the manner of man that I'm talking about. Let me read it again now that you got the backstory. Then Paul replied, what are you doing weeping? He was crying, don't go. And breaking my heart like this. For I am ready not only to be bound and in prison, but even to die. If a man living, having found something worth dying for, he is not fit to live, Martin Luther King said. And because in the land, we're not producing these type of men, the women that have the sex that strong as death have been conquerors in the land, and you are visibly seeing it. There is not a time that we've ever seen before of this type of visible power in women than we see today. And I'm not mad at them because they're being only what God said they would be. Because God intended for a man like Paul to come on the scene and tamper all that down. Right? Well, then she is not vested in what she has done to other men, because now she's really met a man. And she's met a man, and her life starts at the point that she meets him. Right? When I met Dove, it was the same way. She was a cutie pie, light-skinned black girl. Guys be throwing themselves at her and all that. She want to be the boss. She want to be in control. I didn't go over there and tell her, you're going to be submissive. You're going to bow down. I didn't do none of that stuff. I just lived what the Most High made me be. And it was a natural transition for her to be what she has been for 27 years. What she has been for 27 years. All praises to the Most High God. Okay, I'm not going to go too much further because today I wanted to have some of my remnant brothers and sisters to come up and share with you some of the things that have impacted their life while they've been home in the remnant, right? So some of you remnant brothers and sisters, come on up here. You want to say a few things, honey? Come up here where they can see you.
This is something I was thinking about.
Well, it doesn't matter, but just come up.
We went from when you're young to when you get older. And it reminded me of that movie, Death Becomes Her. You know? And I was like, wow, you don't really think about, you know, when you're raised up in a certain demographic of life, how it raises you. From when you're younger, how you look at sex, how you look at a man. You want to be desired. You want to be wanted. You want what, excuse me, because I have food in my mouth. You want what this world has told you that you should have. The husband, the children, the house with the white picket fence. Women's minds used to think like that. Not so much no more. Now it's who got the biggest titties, the biggest butt, the best body, the most money, and who can get the most dudes with the most money. And I said dudes, not just one. I said plural for a reason, because that's exactly how women think today. They're thinking how men think. What can I get out of these dudes? Money, car, house, shoes, a purse. It's gotten to the point where it don't even matter. It's what can I get? What can I get out of this? Nobody's looking at their temple. Nobody's looking at what they're giving away. What do I have? You know, because they have zero value in themselves. And when I was thinking Death Becomes Her, it was like, wow, when my husband said that, it was like it was a transition, right? Death becomes her now is intriguing to the male. It's so intriguing that love he was talking about, that they're going to have that admiration, that lust, that desire, turns in from love to death. So when death became her, it was so intriguing to the male that love and lust that he had for her turned into death. I thought that was powerful, because looking at my life and looking at other women's life, because we're usually just a product of our environment, right? Everything that's going on around us, we think is normal. Because, I might be a single woman with 3 kids, but so is my neighbor. She might have 4. She might have one dude coming over and she might be pregnant with his baby, but it's not even her man, right? It's all around us. So we're not thinking that this is something abnormal or exotic. We're thinking that it's literally normal, right? Because we are a product of our environment. But once you get this information to break down why that is, shed so much light and information on your life where you don't have to be a product of your environment, right? Literally, death becomes her. This is what you are when you're young. This is what it turns into. And now, because we have social media and surgeries and facelifts, like, I don't care how insecure you are as a person, there's something out there to change what you don't like about yourself, because society and social media has taught us literally to hate ourselves, right? We were talking on our women's chat, and we were talking about insecurities, because we all have them, men and women. We all have them. And as social media grows and surgeries and all these different things, people are changing themselves. And even when they change themselves, they still ain't happy with themselves, right? They're still lonely. They're still miserable. They still want to change something else. But you go and you do that. And we're talking about insecurities, right? And we were like, we've all had them, but there's something about this relief doctrine and this information that teaches you how to love yourself. It teaches you to look at what the Most High said about you, that we are wonderfully made by Him, right? Wonderfully and perfectly and individually made by Him. Don't nobody look alike. Nobody's inside cells, everything, nobody's bodies are the same, right? That's purposed. It's purpose for us not to look alike. But I remember when I was in my 20s, we never even thought about some of the things that women think about today. We just didn't. We didn't have the time to. We was too busy doing what we were doing, right? And I'm not going to say we didn't have insecurities, but just how big it's gotten, because everybody is looking at somebody else, and it's like death becomes her, because what you're feeling like is, once I get to the place where I'm feeling like I'm feeling good about myself, you about to go do what you felt like you couldn't do when you thought you weren't all that you were then. But I said something in the chat. I said, but isn't it funny how, let's say it's all about sex and getting a man when it comes to a woman. Isn't it funny how the woman who could think she's the ugliest woman in the world to the skinniest to the biggest can still get fine sex somewhere? Yeah, you could still find sex somewhere. You could still have a baby daddy. I don't care how you feel like you look, how big you are, how skinny, how you don't have a booty, or whatever you think somebody else has. They still got a baby daddy. Somebody still wanted them, right? So then you have to go look at that inside man and start getting this information so that you can work on yourself and learn to love who the Most High made you to be. Why? So that love is within, not death. Because I always see women, if I'm on social media and I see a woman who never had a booty, never had titties, never had none of that, then she go get surgery, she become a whole different, death becomes her. right? That girl is out there. She doing things she never did. She dressing how she's never dressed before. She got on the skimpiest clothes. She never did that before. Social media influencers and all that. It's death becomes her. And then you know what happens after a while? They start hating themselves. Because they realized that they was fine where they was at. Now they're giving away everything they never had to give away before for the attention that they wanted when they felt like they didn't have nothing. Right? So now they're realizing, yeah, I got big titties and a big old booty now. But I might get a couple of dollars here for some dude because now I'm a hoe. Now I'm prostituting myself because I got some assets. Right? And you could see it all over social media, right? Girls, they get with a ball player, they get with this dude, he got some money, then you just the seasonal thing. And next season, they with the next girl with the big booty and something else. And then when they get married, she ain't got no titties and no booty. She fine though, but she ain't got none of the things that you went out and thought that you didn't have enough of to satisfy the person that you wanted. Right? So let's get this information so we don't have to be death becomes her, that we could be life. Life within us, we can give life, and the person that we want to be reciprocate, that we want to reciprocate that to, they have life and love, so we can give that back and forth to each other. Because if you death becomes her, death is coming to you. Period. You not having love, the love that you want. The Most High said, I want people broken before me as though they were dead. So what he's saying is that if you can go be dead for the world, I want that same death right over here for me. So bring that to me. That same death that you're willing to die for out there for the world, I want that over here for me. Because I know you gave it out there, so I know you could bring it over here to me. All right? Love you guys.
That's powerful. Come on, Cavassier. And then Jay. Okay, well, whoever. Come on. There's some of our remnant here.
Oh, snap. Yeah. I had something that I wanted to share. It's called Promises. And but this subject has moved my spirit in a different direction. So I'm gonna share what I've been moved to share. So I've been watching, my name is Cavassier. Hi, Karaya and Corday and y'all. But I've been in the classes since Dre was doing daily fires, right? And in them, right? I would be in them all day long for years, right? So let me just speed up to where the class today has put me, right? So I was in this relationship, right? And I compromised, right? I wasn't being sneaky. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying, cheating on this individual or doing stuff behind her back. Wasn't nothing like that. That wasn't my compromise. My compromise was I agreed to operate with this individual a certain way, and then I backed up off of it. Go over there. Say hi. Your mom probably watching. All right, go. But yeah, so my compromises was that, right? Like I agreed to something, and you know, I realized I was in error, right? I realized that, right? I realized like, no, you out of bounds, right? Because of I was out of bounds, one, because I was compromising to keep this person around, right? And at first I wouldn't see that. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't see that I was doing that. Somehow it was escaping me. And when I caught on to what I was doing and realized like how I was out of bounds, it was only because of the information. You know what I'm saying? It was only because go sit down and stop running up here. Um, it was only because of the information that I was able to catch the error I was operating in. You know what I'm saying? Um, and when I caught on to what I was doing and how I was compromised in my manhood and how I was operating, it really made me, you know what I'm saying, check myself, right? So whatever entailed after that, whatever warring went down, whatever happened after that, it was gonna have to happen. But I'm saying that to say because that characteristic that even unto death that Dre is talking about, it was because I had this relationship with the Most High before I was ever with this woman, right? That's what that compromise hit up against. You know what I'm saying? That's what it hit up against. And I wasn't going no lower than that, right? Like however I was out of bounds, I knew, nah, you know what I'm saying? It was going to be some death before I was in violation of my God. You know what I'm saying? So when I realized, so I'm speaking on this to put emphasis on the importance of the information and how it caught me, right? And how it caused me to be cognitive of where I was out of bounds in it. And that belt came, not, you know what I'm saying? That belt came out and told me up and but whatever happened after that, I understood it was on me. I take accountability for that, right? And it was either going to get straightened out according to this information, or it was going to the situation, or it was going to die, right? And you know, it played out how it played out, right? But I just want to say that, yeah, I just wanted to make sure I pointed out that it was only my relationship with the Most High. It was only the information that gave me the ability to recognize my error. You know what I'm saying? And recognize where I was wrong at, take accountability, understand I was out of bounds. You know what I'm saying? Not make no excuses, not say it was her fault or, you know what I'm saying? It was me. You know what I'm saying? And when I seen that, it was like, okay, Cavassier, you got to go through what you got to go through. And I'm talking about the Most High allowed me to go through my salting, and he let me get wore out about that error. You know what I'm saying? And he made sure I got that check-in and to understand to never operate outside of my convictions in this information. You know what I'm saying? Ever do not to get nobody, to attract nobody, to be with nobody, nothing. If you coming towards me, you coming through this information, it don't get easy around here. Just as hard as I had to stand to get where I am, she got to stand. You know what I'm saying? So all praise to the Most High for that. And for my other part, or one more part I wanted to share. It's called, now this is the promises part, right? Something I was looking at recently is that in our neighborhoods, it's just in everything you can see going on in our communities when it comes to like people who teaching about money or teaching about or who are gangbangers. They might be in a lifestyle, whatever. In the time I was in the streets, I realized that we was all chasing some form of promise. You know what I'm saying? The streets promise you something. Uh, People who sell courses promise you something. The church promise you something. Whatever. Everybody got a promise for you. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a promise for you. I had promises I was chasing. I seen certain things demonstrated to me and seen people operate in certain ways and live in a lifestyle I wanted to live. And you know what I'm saying? I went after that. I was chasing them promises. It didn't work out for me, right? But I was chasing after them things. And that's why I want to talk about this, because I want to talk about it because the only time I chased the promise and it was fulfilled, was here in the remnant with the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Um, the promises that the Most High gave me, the promise, he's been unfailing. I've never seen him not show up and be who he said he was going to be. This is the individual who has never not shown up and had my back. You know what I'm saying? Whenever something going on, I am just elated, and I just be knowing you on your way. You know what I'm saying? I just be knowing he finna show up, and that I am going to see what I have been taught manifest right before my eyes. You know what I'm saying? That if I know that this thing is going to manifest, and I'm about to get some confirmation and some evidence that this is as real as I am being taught it is. You know what I'm saying? So in the streets, you be taught certain things. If you operate like this would be the outcome, or this would be the result, or this is what you'll get. Don't always work out like that. But over here in this remnant, it's going to work out how it says it's going to work out. You know what I'm saying? It's going to manifest the way it says we are taught it's going to manifest. If you applying it and you serious about it, if you playing the game, you might get some other type of result. You know what I'm saying? But me, in all seriousness and how I apply the information in my life, the Most High has made sure I've seen them promises. All praise to the Most High. Happy birthday to my big brother Jay. You know what I'm saying, baby? Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you, man. Love you, boy. I ain't gonna be long. A little closer. Okay. So, I just wanted really to talk about a little bit about how I got here, out here to Washington. Um, when the first time when Dre mentioned that we was going to be starting this in Washington, I'm thinking like, okay, cool. But like when greatness like actually was like he was on it, like that was motivation, right? And then Eddie was like, I'm gonna be there on the 5th. So I said, I'm gonna be there on the 5th too. Even though it was trepidation, but I didn't want to let it hold me back from really moving forward from what I really believe, which was that the word of the Most High had came and it was time to move. So, I really didn't even have the money at the time like that. Like I had just really started a new job, and I had really I was out of a job for a while, and I had moved from my apartment to a family member's basement, and I was just down there for a while, and I was like, dang, like when the next job gonna come so I can get up out of this hole I'm in. And when it came and I started making money and I was able to pay things off, that's when Drake came with the new revelation. I'm like, oh man. But at the same time, it was like, it really wasn't a second thought, because it was like, I felt like it wasn't nothing that I wasn't willing to give to believe in the Most High's word. Like a job is whatever, there was some, like the indoctrination to make it look like it's security in a lot of the things that we hold so close to us, like, our money, our jobs, or whatever we got going on back home to prevent you from making that leap. But, it wasn't really a second thought with me. I just felt like it wasn't nothing that I wouldn't give up to be able to make this move. And that's exactly what I did. I gave everything I had and everything I didn't have. And, it really don't matter what I've done in life or what success I've ever had in any walk of life. I feel like the most important thing I've ever did was believe the Most High's word and act on it. Like, so to be out here it's just a blessing. So, hopefully that can encourage anybody that's out there thinking about making the leap. Like, just do it, man. Because at the end of the day, I want it to be said. I want the record to reflect on earth and in heaven that when the word came, I believed.
Talk about it.
All praise. Yeah. Oh, come on, man. Hey. Good job. Hold on, I'm gonna need to put this on real quick. You came in? All right. So I wanted to talk mostly about how I got out here too, and it was interesting. Basically, like Remnant trading, he said he wanted to come out here, so I was like, I'm gonna come out here too, right? And I was trying to make my plans to come out here by February 28th, and then along those lines, I started getting like one of the tests was coming. One of the first tests that came to me was my family. They started to once I let it be known that I was going to be in Seattle, they try to not try, but I already explained this before, but my dad said he was it was a call. My brothers were worried about financial things, all these things that can create fear, you trying to not do what the Most High wanted you to do. And then the next thing that came about was my health. I started having asthma. I started having like slight asthma, like leading up to that day, February 28th. And then I started realizing it was getting worse. And I was like, I never really felt like this. I know I had like certain situations, but then I started realizing like, yeah, I know what's going on, Lord. You trying to test me here now. So by the time I got to February 28th, that's the day I got to go in the hospital now. I'm in the hospital now because, I can't even breathe. I pushed it back. I pushed the date back to fly out. It was March 5th. That was the first day. That was the first day of the meeting. Then, so now I'm in the hospital and I'm thinking about all the things that I know that the Most High has told me. First of all, I ain't gonna be complaining about nothing.
That's right.
I'm in the hospital like, all right, I think, I was in the hospital. Somebody had to go before me. I was like, okay, you can go, sir. And I'm over here like, I can't even breathe. Then I'm in the hospital for a couple of days. I'm amped up because I really want to get out here. And then I was like, one morning I woke up and I was like, Lord, I kind of did what Dre did when he was in prison. I was like, Lord, this, this can't hold me. You can't, this is not going to stop me at all. I'm going to still be up there on March 5th. And if you're not going to deliver me from this, Lord, I'm still not going to bow. I'm still going to go on that plane and I'm still going to get up out of here. So, and then even when I'm on there, my family visiting, and I know they care for my health in some way, but they still had the thing like you're going out there. I think they were telling me that you can't go on there in the plane. I was like, yeah, listen, I already resorted myself to death already. I'm not about to move in a way that's gonna hinder me. You're gonna see about me, Lord, or you're not gonna see about me. It's either way. So that's all I wanted to say. There's many different things that would try to bring you against the Most High, but when you resulted in death in this thing, none of those things even matter because you can't scare me, as Dre would say, you can't scare me with eternal life. You can't scare me with none of these things.
This is my measure, man. You know, sometimes I be thinking about, I be sitting back thinking, I'm like, man, I should have something to, like, I want to write something before I come up in here. You know, am I good? But then I just, you know, the most, man, when you just in the spirit, man, you just can just pull from your life, right? And the best way I can do it is through my truth. You know what I mean? The type of person that I was back then, you know, I got many bad stories. You know, a lot of times I did hold myself accountable. It was times I wasn't the most reliable person. You know, a lot of things I did that was bad. Not being aware that it was my sergeant, you know. But through those like trials and just like, you know, when you just feel that pressure on you, you know, you just, you know, it's something with you, but you can't, you just looking at your situation, you know, and that's been me a lot of times. You know, I've been always just looking at the situation, and, you know, like I said, I always come from different backgrounds, different cultures, but it was like God's timing wasn't there yet with me. You know what I mean? I had to wait it out. So, you know, like I said, I'm going through all these things, but I'm feeling like a pressure, and it's something that's really, it's like a drive. Like, you know what I mean? Like you got to do some work, because, you know, I got this space right here is for you, the remnant. So I just kind of look at, I just love my God so much, because through all the times I'm just like, man, I'm just failing. I'm always talking to him. I'm like, God, like, man, like, you know, this can't be my life, man. Like, you know I'm not this. I mean, my father that I have, man, you know, it ain't looking good for me, you know. But also, I also knew, hey, sometimes you got to just get your hands dirty. You know what I'm saying? You got to roll up your sleeves. And a lot of times the word is there, you know, or the scriptures, but it ain't going to manifest itself until you do the work. You know what I'm saying? So what I can say going into the remnant, right? Like I said, before I even came to this, man, I was just having, like, I was just doing a lot of small things in my life, man. Like I say, just worldly. And like I say, it just came to a time where I knew God's timing and what he was doing with me. It just clicked. You know, I had a whole different perspective coming into the remnant, just empowered me to think bigger, empowered me to, like, that same God that I always been praying to. He was more visible in this space, because I couldn't just have any type of excuses. I had to put in the work. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I thought I had my phone with me. I had a scripture that I was reading. You think you passed my phone? And it registers so much about why this relationship is on that side. Real fast. Yeah, this moved me yesterday, man. I was sitting here thinking, and I'm like, this scripture is perfect for this time, right? So this is 2 Peter 1-10. Like I said, it's culture, man. Like when we read it, it's all culture, and I see myself in this. You know what I mean? Because I you know, you got to put in the work to see yourself. So it says, therefore, believers, be all the more diligent to make certain about his calling and choosing you. Be sure that your behavior reflects and confirms your relationship with God, for by doing these things, actively developing these virtues, you will never stumble in your spiritual growth, and will live a life that leads others away from sin. You know, but the one thing that stood out to me was be sure. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't sure until I actually came into the remnant, because, like I say, once I've developed them things I needed to just be the man that he wanted me to be, and had a space where I had to just